this is real. I love this. Let me go full screen here. Let's get our ugly mugs off the screen and get this hot psychologist front and center. Testify, baby. Testify for me, girl.
Regularly to supervise them, discuss their cases, provide them with information about different diagnoses, interventions, and treatment methods.
How did you get involved in this case?
I was contacted by Ms. Camille Vasquez, one of the attorneys for Mr. Depp.
Okay. And what was the nature of the contact?
Ms. Vasquez called me and indicated that she might be interested in having me meet the legal team so that I could discuss my expertise and possibly provide my opinions related to the matter.
What were you asked to provide expert opinion on?
So initially, my role that I understood at the time was to review the case materials and provide my opinions regarding anything that I noticed that was consistent or even inconsistent with the psychological science that exists today on intimate partner violence in Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard's relationship.
All right, you used a phrase there, intimate partner violence. What are you talking about?
So there are a multitude of different definitions depending on the source or the state. But essentially, intimate partner violence is abuse. It could be physical, psychological, and it's from one partner to another in an intimate relationship.
Did your role in this case evolve over time?
Yes, it shifted. So I was retained at the end of January 2021, and then had just barely begun to review the documents. The case was postponed, and then in October 2021, I was asked by counsel to provide a psychological evaluation of Ms. Heard.
Okay. Were you ever asked to do a psychological evaluation of Mr. Depp?
No.
Okay.
What types of documents did you consider in this analysis?
So I reviewed quite a few documents as part of my evaluation. That included all of the case documents, Ms. Heard's medical records by Dr. Kipper, her prior mental health treatment records. I believe I reviewed records from Dr. Amy Banks, Dr. Bonnie Jacobs, Dr. Connell Cohen, and also a significant portion of my review involved notes from Nurse Erin Filati, at the time Erin Borum, who spent a significant time with Ms. Heard in her direct company. I also reviewed exhibits, quite a few audio recordings, a video recording, several video recordings, or possibly photographs. I might be getting them confused. And multiple witness statements, testimony, and declarations.
That is a lot of data.
Mm-hmm.
That's not just like I read a text message and I think she has BPD, like most guys in the red pill do.
Yeah, I don't think the attorney wanted that answer.
No.
Did there come a time when you met directly with Ms. Heard?
Yes, I did. So in conducting my evaluation, I met with Ms. Heard on two separate dates, December 10th and December 17th, 2021.
Approximately how much time have you spent with Ms. Heard?
So the evaluation, we spent 12 hours directly with one another. However, there were more hours involved in the evaluation with some breaks. So we spent 7 hours together on the first day, December 10th.
Jesus Christ, 7 hours of analyzing data on the first day.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily together.
Oh, I hope they zoom in on Amber's guilty ass. Let me see her stank face.
There was a 1 hour lunch break and about a half hour with breaks split up through the day. And then on the 17th, we spent a little more than 8 hours in the evaluation from start to finish, with a 1 hour break and another half hour of breaks distributed throughout the day.
As a result of the work that you performed, did you form any opinions with respect to Ms. Heard?
I did.
What were those opinions?
The results of Ms. Heard's evaluation, 2 diagnoses, borderline personality disorder, and
That's and guys who like, just I want to put this to the audience real quick. when you get diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, that is an extreme problem. The probability of overcoming borderline personality disorder with traditional methods nowadays is very, very low. I think the recovery rate is, good Lord have mercy, I think it's like sub 10%. Do you know the number exactly? But I know it's very low percent
It
of people
is. It
recover.
is. Yeah, it's just under 10%. And the thing I found interesting is she definitely pointed out the histrionic personality disorder. If you don't know, I know you do. It's marked by unstable emotions and a distorted self-image coupled with an overwhelming desire to be noticed. There's that external validation out of whack.
And let me double down on with that, because I was gonna leave that, but she also gets later in the video, she gets diagnosed as histrionic personality. You probably see it on the screen there, guys. But histrionic people, women with histrionic personality disorder, you know, one form of, because histrionic means they want attention, and histrionic personality disorder is also a very female dominated personality disorder.
Yep.
What this here indicates as well is, with Johnny Depp's mom, she did something that the histrionic personality disorder person does, which is attempt suicide for attention.
Bingo.
Amber Heard is now being diagnosed with the same shit that his mother had. So you see that she matched the same situations, same symptoms, if you will, right? So the plot really thickens and gets very, very deep here. But I'm so happy that this is an expert witness being like, I analyzed this bitch. She is clinically fucking insane in 2 different categories, which are awful.
This is actually good for her in the big picture, because remember, if it tips and she loses her political power and they turn on her, this gives her an out.
Oh, I know.
It really does. It's a blessing for her if it goes that south.
Yeah, but I honestly, bro, I send this bitch to the
We can still
gallows.
laugh.
Send this bitch to the gallows.
Yeah.
I do not even care.
It doesn't excuse any of her evilness, because
Nope.
that is a choice. Even if you have these,
Yeah.
it's still a choice. You know, if you have a broken finger, you can still
Yeah.
pull the trigger.
Oh yeah. And for me, it's just, you know, I don't know. I rule with an iron fist. I just can't, because like,
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
the thing is too, I've been watching this case, and anybody at home has been watching this case. You can genuinely see, like, in Johnny's day-to-day behavior in the court, he's just a sweetheart. Did you see, like, his attorney's back was to him, and her iPhone cord was like caught under the keyboard, and he just reached forward and did it, and, like, you know, uh undid it for her.
Oh no, he's
He's
very
just,
consistent, has charisma and congruency, and it's why do you think he rose to the top of his field?
yeah. Oh yeah. Now he's, and honestly, from a PR standpoint, he is winning the hearts of America, the world right now, as like the battered sweetheart husband millionaire who is getting taken advantage by some cold-hearted fucking clinically insane cunt. You
Gold
know,
digger.
it's not, she needs to have like the Academy Award winning level performance next week when she takes the stand, because I don't know. You think she's gonna cry on the stand?
Well, Waterworks probably is an understatement. You know, she's gonna break down some waterworks, I'm sure. She
I
has
I
to.
I if this bitch has the audacity to cry and stand, I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself, man. I just
Well, I predict she will. She acted like she was gonna tear up at a couple points. It was forced, of course, as she was sitting there and I was watching this. But we'll see. It will be entertaining, and we'll get some great insights, I'm sure.
oh man, I can't even, you know, I think what we'll need to do, we're gonna have to ask the audience. Let's put a poll into the chat. Okay. We got 400 people watching. I want to see what you guys have to say. So will she cry in the stand next week? Let's see. We're gonna put that out there. Go ahead, guys. Vote. It's in the chat now. Vote. We'll bring up that vote a little bit later. Let's continue with the diagnosis by the psychologists.
And histrionic personality disorder.
One is a diagnosis?
A diagnosis is a way that we essentially, that psychologists, psychiatrists, anybody in the mental health field thinks about a disorder. It helps us to communicate a set of symptoms that a person is experiencing. And along with that set of symptoms, it tells other professionals a lot about how those symptoms might have developed, how that person might behave, perceive the world. It also drives treatment. The real purpose is to determine what sort of interventions will be most effective for the person.
Yeah. Previously, you made reference to, I think you called it the DSM-5. What's that?
So the DSM-5, that stands for the Diagnostic Statistical Manual, version 5. And that contains every diagnosis we use in mental health. And it's the authoritative manual of mental diagnoses.
In the United States.
Is performing diagnoses something you typically do in your line of work?
Yes.
So you referenced two personality disorders.
Notice if you look at the corner of Amber's lips here, you can see that she's like forcing herself to keep her lips down, and then they kind of quiver up once in a while, but then she brings them back down.
And it's the authoritative manual of mental diagnoses.
Is performing diagnoses something you typically do in your line of work?
Yes.
Thank you. So you referenced two personality disorders. What's a personality disorder?
To understand a personality disorder, I think it can be helpful first to kind of define personality. So personality, something we take for granted, but these are the traits, the characteristics, the way we think, we feel, and we act that make us who we are. And these traits are pretty stable over time and across situations. We might, be sure to mind our P's and Q's when we're meeting somebody new. But overall, if somebody were to describe us, or if we were to describe ourselves, we have a pretty good sense of who we are. Sometimes an easy way to think of it is imagining how you might describe a brother or sister or a child if you have children. Their personalities are pretty clear to you. A personality disorder is some sort of dysfunction in those enduring traits. So as opposed to other types of mental illness, when you think about something like depression, that's episodic. It comes and it goes. And when it's treated with medication, it can pretty much be completely mitigated or minimized in a person's life, and their personality is still there, separate from the depression. When we have a personality disorder, there are going to be disturbances in several different areas that are visible in almost all different facets of their life.
Is there a manner in which personality disorders are commonly diagnosed?
Yes, so they can be diagnosed in a treating environment. Treating psychologist or a therapist or a psychiatrist simply does a diagnostic interview, which involves assessing multiple.
Oh, we got a donation. Thanks so much. Oh, Lord. Mark Daniels, $50 super chat says masculineempowermentnetwork.com. What more reason do you need than this trial to sign up? It's true. And like I said, what me and Thor are breaking down here is what we're going to do with your cases. Whenever you guys say, hey, I'm dating this girl, I don't know what she's about. My wife is doing this. Help me out here. I met this girl. She flaked on me, but we reconnected. Then we hooked up. Relationships can get a little sticky, and we can help you guys out through all of those things in the Masculine Empowerment Network. Thank you so much for the massive donation of $50. I am just thrilled at how intelligent this woman is socially. She is delivering this presentation of complicated information in a very, very digestible manner.
Yep.
And she's hot to top it off. I'm in love, man. I don't know about you.
Elegance too. I mean, really, she has an air of elegance. She's concise, easy to understand. She's not injecting emotion. She doesn't have that debate demeanor that we see so often. That's good.
Let's go to the poll real quick. Looks like the poll is in house. All right, with 130 people, will she cry in the stand next week? 96% of the audience says yes. 4% says no. I don't know, man. If she cries in the, I wouldn't put it past her, but at this point, I feel like she's so sunk that crying is just gonna make the world. I mean, they're gonna meme the shit out of her. Like the internet is, you got like weaponized autism against you. She's gotta play the perfect, uh, you know, character to win the court of public opinion over. I think she can still finesse the system, but the court of public opinion is out on this bitch. She's treacherous.